And tonight I am being joined by one of the members of that very esteemed committee, Mr. Tony Uranta.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, suffice it to say that you're a member of that committee. There are millions of other ways to describe you, but let's stay with that right now because that's the issue today. Well then, Mr. Uranta, we had what I will call a tale of two cities, Benin City and Lagos. Two different scenarios, but then let's start with the journey so far. The committee is about a month old now. How has it been?
First of all, we hit the road running immediately 30 minutes after our inauguration and our leaving the villa, Aso Villa. We were already meeting. Well, that meeting lasted into the late hours of the night, and since then we had been meeting and touring. We really started touring the nation 2 weeks after inauguration. We had to give advance notice to both government security agencies and especially the people for them to be aware we were coming, be ready for us, prepare their positions, prepare themselves to present those positions. And we also wanted to prepare ourselves to be able to sit through these sessions without talking at all. And that's been our job, just to listen. And we've been doing that. We've gone through the North Central, Southwest, Southeast, and South-South now. We're hitting Sokoto tomorrow to start the Northwestern zone and Maiduguri the day after.
Well, you have a very long way to go. I mean, from Lagos to Sokoto. But then, suffice it to say, yes, you've been meeting people here and there. But then I am curious to know, I mean, what section of society have you been meeting with? I mean, talking about the people. I mean, are they really representative of the whole gamut of Nigerians?
I think your news reports and other stations' news reports capture the whole truth.
Yeah, but what we see is faces, but we're talking about
yes, who they represent. Who they represent.
How representative are they?
What we've done is, having announced that we'll be sitting, at every sitting, we don't rise until there is nobody left that wants to say something. We don't have fixed hours. And we allow everybody, young, old, market woman, trader, everybody to have a say. You may have heard the young man who said Nigeria should not be called Nigeria anymore. He was not registered to speak. He's a young man in his teens, and yet he was given an opportunity just as anybody else, and he said we should be in Liberia. I mean, that's debatable. But then our job is to listen to everybody across the gamut of society.
Now, listening to everybody, but then, well, this is one issue we will unavoidably bring up. The scenes in Edo State, rather unfortunate, you know. But then, someone expressed his opinion, and, well, he was being shouted down, maybe because of the fact that he was the chief executive of the state. But then, somehow, that incident actually portrays the committee, or maybe some of its individual members, in a very unflattering light.
We have to distinguish between who was doing the shouting down. Even as your clip showed, the people of Edo, or some people in the crowd, had started booing the governor and had started saying he should sit down. I did not think that was right. It was not democratic. That was not the purpose, because in a dialogue, you'll have consensus, you'll have dissensus. You don't expect everybody to think along the same lines. The unfortunate part of it was, yes, we did have a member of the committee get involved, and very, very shabbily so. I think after that, the committee sent an apology, written apology, which we broadcast to all the nation through the media, We did not hide the fact that we were miffed also at what happened. We were shocked, and we were not in the least supportive of anything that was non-democratic, that was going to limit the space of discussion. And since then, we have been meeting. We went to the southeast 2 states and came to Lagos without that member present. I think that's enough to show that we were not supportive of that movement or that action, and it was not the committee's identity. It was an individual, and we cannot really stop individuals. Sometimes people will be themselves.
Absolutely. But then, as far as that matter is concerned, that member, is he still a member of the committee, or is there some form of sanction being imposed on him for that sort of behavior?
I read the papers the day after, and since then there have been arguments about whether there was a resignation, a dismissal, and all that. All I can say is that after Benin, we've been in Enugu, we've been in Umuahia, we've been in Lagos, and that member has not been with us.
Okay, now good enough. Then there's this issue of whether or not the country should remain one. But you know, before the committee, you know, was inaugurated, one of the issues that a lot of people commented upon was the issue of whether or not Nigeria should remain one. But then lots of people would have believed that the unity of the country is sacrosanct. That shouldn't even be part of the agenda at all. Nigeria's unity, that should be an issue that should not be tampered with in the first place. But then, of course, the argument still came up again whether or not we should be together as one country. I want to know whether that was part of the committee's terms of reference, you know, whether the country's unity should be negotiated in the first place.
No, the point is this. When the president was inaugurating us, he stressed again and again that he was not foreclosing on any area of discussion by saying there are no no-go areas. This conference, when it does, if it does hold, is going to be very unique in a few ramifications. First of all, the agenda. We have always had government impose an agenda on us. We have always had government impose candidates or delegates on us. We've always had government impose a structure, the time limits, and so on. Now the president is saying, I want the people to own and design this conference. The architecture should be solely the people's own. And he said, so as not to seem to be interfering with the people's sovereignty, I am not going to limit the areas of discussion. I, for one, am totally for the unity of Nigeria, premise, of course, on justice, equity, and a few other things. But if we are going to, like I said at the beginning, if you're going to have a dialogue, if you're going to listen to people, or you're going to give people democratic space, you'll have to expect people who are not for whatever you believe is sacrosanct. Absolutely. Don't forget that at the end of the elections in America, some states said they were going to secede. They didn't secede because it was in their larger interest for them to remain in America.
I mean, in this present time?
Yes, just after the last election.
Last presidential election.
Yes, they said because Obama won, about 3 states threatened to secede. It's a fact of life that some people will not agree with you. That does not make them right or wrong. But you must allow them the space to say whatever they want to say, and then the majority will have its way.